In that video, you see the latest tactic being used by Donald Trump's ICE and Border Patrol Gestapo in Chicago and communities across the United States. They stand in front of vehicles with pepper spray, and then they say, "Oh, you're about to hit me, you're about to hit me." Then they spray inside the cars with pepper spray to try to severely hurt the people in the cars, and then create a pretext to brutalize them. That's what's going on in Donald Trump's America. These are the tactics of authoritarian thugs. Donald Trump is an authoritarian thug. So now, one of his other authoritarian thug buddies sees what Donald Trump just did in Argentina with Javier Milei, the authoritarian leader there, who was bailed out to the tune of $40 billion of American taxpayer money. And now Viktor Orban of Hungary is saying, "Hey, can you give us some money, Donald?" Because Orban's got an election coming up next year where he's expected to lose as of now. And he wants the United States, Putin style, to interfere in Hungary's election. So Orban is now counting on Trump to go full Argentina, is what they're calling it, to save him from election doom. Give us money in Hungary to the ruling party to suppress the democracy movement there. That's what the United States is doing, not spreading democracy across the globe, spreading authoritarianism and fascism across the globe as America isolates itself from our allies in NATO and our traditional allies across the world. One of the important data points I want to give you as well, talking about the interconnectedness of the world and America's isolation, is this story that just came in from Bloomberg. U.S. ports facing a goods recession amid holiday lull and tariff woes. In other words, the ships aren't heading into the ports with the goods anymore, and we're seeing a recession in shipping, in trucking, in retail, in tourism, also in construction and manufacturing. And I showed you this weekend Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, National Economic Advisor Kevin Hassett both said that there are many sectors of the United States currently in a recession. Duh, we know that. Hassett also expects there to be a GDP contraction the fourth quarter. That would be the second contraction this year of the economy. As Carl Quintanilla writes, so how confident are U.S. importers in the holiday shopping season and beyond? Let's just say inbound container units are expected to be down 14.4% this month, 17.9% next month. Do you remember how, 8 months we were following the freight industry and then the trucking industry? Remember, I'd go through all of the charts and the data and predicted that this was going to happen using the data, graphs, charts, projections of economists. Whoa, what a concept to use the projections and the data and the evidence-based approach of economists to predict basic things like Trump's tariffs against the world were going to backfire. Take a look at this article right here from the Times. Low-income shoppers cut spending and businesses worry. Both the delay in SNAP benefits, because the Trump regime does not want to pay the full SNAP benefits despite being ordered to do so by courts. They want to starve people to death, mixed with a decline in food traffic, has many stores, restaurants, and food producers concerned about sales. One owner explained, "I've got freezers full of turkeys. We ordered inventory for holidays, all of this stuff months ago. We're on the hook for all of that, and people just ain't buying it." Because people ain't buying this Trump economy, this Trump recession, this Trump Great Recession. It's only being propped up artificially by artificial intelligence, by these data centers, which are job killers and suck up enough energy. I thought the latest study, there was a place in a smaller city that the data center consumes more energy than 2 Atlantas combined. And we wonder why our electricity prices are getting so much higher. Everything is less affordable under the Trump regime. Also, Trump's solution for this is something despised and detested. He goes, you know how we're going to deal with the affordability issue when it comes to housing? He goes, let's take the 30-year mortgage and turn it into a 50-year mortgage. Worst idea ever. So a 50-year mortgage rate would add about 86% more interest on principal over the life of the loan. One CEO called the idea a disgusting insult and economic genocide against the Gen Z generation. The issue of affordability in housing is the supply of housing is so reduced because private equity, hedge fund, corporations have scooped up all of these homes away from families, away from first-time homeowners, and they've bought them, commoditized them, bundled them, put them in their portfolios, and have deprived Americans from gaining access to these homes. Who can compete on a bid of a home with private equity? You just can't do it. And that's what happens. You want to decrease the pricing of homes? You want to help affordability? Create more supply of housing out there that is affordable. That's one of the first things that you would do. And then ban this practice of corporations hoarding the supply of housing. Simple, basic is what you would do. While all of this is going on, though, Trump doesn't give a crap about you, your life, your family, your suffering, your jobs, living with having wages with dignity. He doesn't care. He's too focused on covering up the Epstein files and his PPP racket, his pedo protection program. Donald Trump, MAGA Republicans, deeply involved in covering up a child sex trafficking ring with the Epstein files not being produced. And Donald Trump is treating Ghislaine Maxwell like a queen. She's been saying how great she's treated at the new minimum security facility that Trump brought her to. The prison warden is helping her with her legal papers, bringing her cell phones and access to the outside world. Ghislaine Maxwell even has a puppy. She has a comfort puppy there. In addition, she's meeting with people, VIPs, and the prison gets shut down so that she can meet with all of her VIPs. Yep, the prison staff is helping her with her commutation papers, because we all know that Trump's going to reduce her sentence any year now. I'm not sure if it comes this year or next year, but we all know that she's going to get released from jail, just like George Santos. Like, isn't that pretty obvious where this is heading for her silence, right? Meanwhile, the Epstein files have not been released. It's despicable. It's deplorable. It absolutely is. Meanwhile, Donald Trump ranting and raving, whining like a lunatic on social media. Donald Trump's like, if the Supreme Court rule against us in the tariff against the world case, we're going to have to pay back $2 trillion. And it's going to be devastating to our economy. We'll go into a Great Depression. I think the Supreme Court is going to rule against the Trump regime. But if the tariffs against the world were reversed, a refund, not to countries, to the importers, to the American companies who have paid the duties, right? The American companies pay the tax, the tariff. They pass it on to the consumer. That's why the prices are getting higher. So a refund would go back to the companies in America that import and pay the duties, right? Do you understand the way tariffs work? That's what a tariff is. So if there were to be a ruling against the Trump regime, the only amount of money that would have to be returned back to these businesses, $115 billion to maybe $145 billion. There hasn't been trillions of dollars collected. I think in total, there's been about $200 to $250 billion in revenue raised from tariffs. That's it. Our deficit has increased 7% year over year, so it hasn't made a dent in bringing down our deficit or reducing the annual debt. Like it's not going there because debt's rising, annual deficit concomitantly is increasing. So it'd be about $145 billion return is what would actually would be. One of the other things, as these 8 Democrats who I've been very, very critical of, who have voted to the continuing resolution to get rid of the healthcare of 20 plus million Americans. Not sure if they read one of the things that's in this that's in the minibus bills that are going to be passed along with it. It's Republican senators creating a law to pay themselves $500,000 each for their claim that special counsel Jack Smith and the DOJ subpoenaed their phone records. And there's literally a provision in the new GOP bill that these 8 Democrats agreed with that would pay these senators $500,000. And it literally says that the victims are the senators. Like the law says the senators shall be entitled to like $500,000. For what? For what? For being involved in the January 6th and having phone records subpoenaed? I mean, what the hell's even going on here, folks? That's what the Republicans are doing. By the way, even Donald Trump's buds like Grant Cardone, they're running ads right now that now we're heading into a recession. And so here's how you can get rich during the recession. This is from Donald Trump's bud. Grant Cardone is Mr. MAGA. Here's what he's saying. The time's now for jump into real estate during the recession. They view recession and depression as an opportunity for them to feast and to make money off of you by screwing you. That's what MAGA wants to do here. Here, play this clip.
Hey, real estate investors, big heads up. Shh, don't tell anybody, but I'm going to show you how to get in the real estate game. We're going into a recession. Seriously, this is going to be the biggest opportunity in your lifetime to invest in real estate. Retail and residential and office is going to provide you with big opportunities. I'm going to show you exactly how to get started.
Then Laura Ingraham asked Donald Trump yesterday, so why do you think people are anxious about the economy? And Trump's like, it's all fake news. It's because it's fake news. The economy's doing great. Here, play this clip.
We're down on energy. We're down on interest rate. You know, interest rates are down despite the Fed. Now, if we had a normal person at the Fed would have really low interest rates, and we will soon have that. We'll have somebody that's...
And why are people saying they're anxious about the economy? Why are they saying that?
I don't know that they are saying. I think polls are fake. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We will have over $20 trillion come into our economy, and it's largely because of my election, but it's also largely because of tariffs.
And then one of the weird things during the press conference that Trump had earlier in the day, like Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, was randomly in the Oval Office. And in the middle of the press conference, Donald Trump's like, where's Erica? I want to kiss her. Can I kiss you? And then he brings her over and then kisses her in the middle of the press conference. What the hell? Here, play this clip.
Where's Erica?
She's right. Swearing in right now.
Just so your name is
And then he attacks Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll show you this right here.
But with all of that, I passed a great big beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know.
Very strange behavior. Finally, you have Kevin Hassett, Donald Trump's top national economic advisor, and he lies and claims inflation's down, groceries are down, everything is cheaper now, he says. And Caitlin Collins, or who's ever doing the interview here, doesn't even fact check him. It's like, well, dude, every category, groceries are up, electricity is up, every single thing's more expensive. What are we talking about? Wait, play this clip.
Says that grocery prices are down. What numbers is he basing that off, given that's not true, and even Marjorie Taylor Greene has acknowledged that it's not accurate?
Right. Well, I guess the question, inflation is down. It's one of those things that very often when people talk about economics, they slip derivatives, as we say. And so the point is that inflation is way down. It averaged 5% under Joe Biden. It's running at about 2.5% right now. And the thing, though, is that people's purchasing power dropped by more than $3,000 because of the inflation of the last 4 years. It's up by about $1,200 this year. And so purchasing power is improving, but we haven't closed the entire gap, and that's why people still feel the pain of the higher prices.
Grocery prices are up.
Well, not everything. I mean, egg prices are down. We used to talk a lot about those. In fact, it was your first question here in the White House. Why haven't you covered the lower egg prices?
But also prices, we certainly have covered that, energy as well, but grocery prices are up about 1.4% since Trump took
Right, which is a big decline in the rate of inflation of grocery prices.
They're down, and they're up.
Inflation is down, is what he means. Yeah.
There you have it, folks. This regime lies. They're fraudulent. They're criminals, they're crooks, they're bad people. There's no way around it. Let's keep the fight up together, though. Let's keep the fight up. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you so much. New Midas merch. Head to store.MeidasTouch.com today and get yourself the best pro-democracy gear and show your support. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.